Hi, it's Sean, the Fluency Awesomeizer, and this is Decoding Multi-Syllabic Words, episode 54. Got 5 words I'm going to look at today. Let's get started. I want you to read these words right out loud when I show them to you. What's this first one? How about this? The third word. All right, 2 more. And all right, question for you. Were any of those tricky to read? If so, keep watching. I'm going to demonstrate some great decoding strategies you can use when you're stuck on an unfamiliar word. First, a reminder of the fable, the tortoise and the hare, and the moral, slow and steady wins the race, which is great advice when you do get stuck on an unfamiliar word, probably a big unfamiliar word like this one. You can think of those words as races. And if you read like the hare, you might race through that word to get finished first, and that's where mistakes can happen. But if you read like the tortoise and you take it slow and steady when you're trying to read these words, that patience is definitely going to pay off and improve your decoding ability. Let's practice. All right, sometimes it's okay to head towards the end of the race, towards the end of a word to get started breaking it apart. So I can see the word form in this word. There's an R-controlled sound, not to be confused with from. There's form, and that's formed. I can see the word in back towards the beginning. There's inform, and it starts with un. Informed, yeah, this is the word uninformed. And it has 2 N's in uninformed. It comes from the root inform, which has a root itself, form. It's an old Latin word, forma, and one of the meanings is shape. Informa, that prefix in Latin, it can mean into. So the word informa in Latin literally means to get in the shape, but not your body, more your mind, to inform. That's like, you talk about inform when you're reading informative text, like newspapers, to inform. So it's a verb, put an ed on the end, you have the past tense verb informed, but it's also an adjective, to be informed. You might be informed. Think about the ed here. There's 3 rules to ed. Sometimes you only hear the d, but there is an e. So informed, if you listen to it, you don't hear the e. Put the prefix un in the beginning, and you've got a very busy word, uninformed. Uninformed, and that is an adjective. Not to be confused with this word. Again, starting towards the finish line, I can see formed again. It's the beginning that's interesting in this word. There's un, a lot of words start with un, but there's nif. There's an I in this word. And is this uniformed? No, this word is uniformed. Yeah, uniformed. It comes from the word uniform. The root of that is also forma from Latin, which again means shape. The Latin prefix una, you know from, well, we'll look at it in a minute. It means one, una. And you hear the U in that, una, not una, una. And you hear it in unicorn and unicycle. And uniform of the Latin word is where we get uniform from. It means having one shape. So uniform, you might know someone, or you might yourself go to a school where they wear uniforms. Not that everyone has one shape, but it's more like everyone has one look. Everyone looks the same. There's a uniform. So that's kind of what the root of the word uniform. Everyone looks the same. So put an ed on the end, and you've got an adjective, uniform. You don't hear the e. Uniformed, 3 syllables. Not to be confused with unformed. Yeah, unformed. Same root, form, meaning shape, but it's also a verb, to shape or create. So formed, you put an ed on the end, and again, you don't hear the e. Formed, as if you formed a sandcastle at the beach. Unformed is the opposite. It's the prefix un. That's the job of the un, is to make it the opposite. So it's just sand now if it's unformed. Unformed. All right, this word, I can see in at the beginning. There's fin. It looks like night. Is this infinite? There's an I there at the end. Infinite? No, this is infinite. Comes from the root finite. Infinite, finite. So there's a difference here. Finite is an old Latin root, an origin anyway, finitum. And it has the same root as finis. And you know, when a movie ends, sometimes it'll show the end, but sometimes it says fin. Yeah, it's the end, the finish. That's where we get the word finish, like the end of a race, the finish line. So finitum is also in that Latin family. It's where we get the word definite. And finite means there's definitely an end. Finite, it's an adjective. Infinite means there's no end in sight. It's the opposite. Infinite. You also don't, the silent E doesn't work on that I at the end. It's a short I sound, infinite. So you might not think to put an E on there, but you need to know that infinite has a silent E, but it's a short I sound. It's where we get infinity. So infinite, don't hear that, you don't use that silent E, but it's there. It's a short I though. You might be confused when you spell infinite. Infant, not to be confused with infant. This is the easy word, but it's an interesting story about infant. It also goes back to the ancient language Latin, and the F-A-N-T part of the infant in Latin means to speak. In is the opposite, not. So infant, literally in Latin, means not able to speak, like an infant, goo goo gaga. All right, that's it for today's episode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook for more helpful decoding videos like this one. And at my Facebook page and my photos, there's a great album full of reading challenges I've written to help you practice decoding those big words and to awesomize your fluency. And just search the Fluency Awesomizer to get there on YouTube or Facebook. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Come back and see me soon. Bye.